Cancel the coffee. Clip the coupons. Skip the avocado toast and you'll be a millionaire by 65. You've heard it 1,000 times. It's a lie, sold to keep you small. Because here's what actually happens. You show up, you work, you wait for the raise that moves you $30 a week, while the price of everything you touch climbs faster than the raise ever will. You feel it in the cart at the store. You feel it in the rent letter. The check stays flat. And here's the part they never say. That check has exactly one purpose. It buys another week of you showing up. That's the whole design. The man on the finance channel, the one telling you to give up your single $3 pleasure, has never built $1 of wealth by subtraction in his life. You cannot shrink your way out of a small salary. $5 a day, saved for 40 years, still leaves you old, tired, and barely afloat. Once you see the coupon game for the leash it is, you can't unsee it. Because while you trade 8 hours for a flat number, other men are collecting money in their sleep. From shelves they own, files they built once, machines that run without them. Nobody ever sat you down and explained it, because the game needs men who show up for the flat number. You've been playing checkers on a chessboard your whole life. But you have one thing those men never had. You learned to survive on almost nothing. A small paycheck taught you to squeeze every dollar. The comfortable forgot how, and that's where you get in. Let's talk about what your salary actually does. Every month it arrives, and every month it leaves. Rent takes a bite. The car takes a bite. The card takes a bite. By the time you look, the account is flat again, and the next month starts from the same zero. That is the rat race in one sentence. You run hard, and the month ends exactly where it started. Watch a man do this for 20 years. He clocks in at the warehouse at 6, steel-toe boots, a lanyard with his photo on it. He's proud of the lanyard. 15 years in, they give him a plaque and a raise that covers one extra tank of gas a month. He tells himself the pension will save him. The pension gets cut the year before he retires. He works 3 more years to make up the difference. Then his knees go. He gave them his strongest 40 years and kept the plaque. Here's the number that should stop you cold. Economists at Pew Research Center tracked American wages across 4 decades. Adjusted for what $1 actually buys, the average worker's hourly pay landed almost exactly where it sat 40 years earlier. 40 years of showing up. The same buying power at the end. The treadmill has a name, and the name is your salary. Now look at the man who owns that warehouse. He never lifts a box. His name is on the building, on the trucks, on the paychecks, including yours. You rent your hours to him by the week, and when the week ends, you own nothing. He owns all of it. Same building, 2 different species. 500 years ago, Machiavelli warned princes never to fight with borrowed soldiers. A man who wins with another man's army loses the day that army walks off the field. Your salary is a borrowed army. The day it leaves, a layoff, a cut, a bad quarter, you have nothing of your own still standing. And here's the quiet part of the machine. Your check is engineered to be spent before it clears. The subscriptions, the minimum payments, the little upgrades that renew every month, all of it timed to drain the account the day the money lands, so you're empty again by the next shift. That's the slow bleed. It keeps you needing the next check, which keeps you showing up, which keeps the whole thing turning. A man with nothing left at the end of the month has no choice but to obey. And they sold you a plan for it. Work 40 years, save a slice, Retire at 65 into the golden years. Look at the golden years honestly. A body that hurts, a fixed income, and time you're finally too tired to spend. That's the retirement fiction, and the low earner gets the thinnest slice of all. Do one thing right now. Say the number on your last check out loud. Just the number. Hold it. Because here's the turn. Everything that small check taught you, the squeezing, the going without, the watching of every single dollar, is the exact skill that builds the machine. Most people can't build wealth because they never learned to live lean. You already did. Here are the laws. Law 1. Freeze the life. The day your pay goes up, your spending stays flat. Freeze it. The extra becomes seed. A 16-year-old took a job as an assistant bookkeeper for a few dollars a week. He kept a small ledger, he called it Ledger A, and wrote down every cent that left his hands. A pair of gloves, a stamp, coins to the church. He lived on almost nothing and funneled the rest into his first small trade in grain and oil. His income crept up, and he refused to let his life rise with it. The gap between what he earned and what he spent kept widening, and that gap became the capital for everything after. That clerk was John D. Rockefeller. He became the richest man on earth. Everyone saw a poor bookkeeper. What they missed was the gap, quietly turning into a fortune. You do the same with numbers you actually have. Say you clear $2,600 a month, and you live on 22. A raise takes you to 2,800. Most men let their lifestyle rise to meet it. A nicer phone, a bigger plan, a night out to celebrate. You don't touch it. You keep living on 22. Now the gap is $600 a month, $7,200 a year pointed at a build. The comfortable can't do this. They've never lived lean a day in their life. You have. That's your weapon, and they can't buy it back. But a pile of seed rots if you plant it in the wrong ground. The next law decides where it goes. Law 2, build it once. Build one thing a single time and let it sell 1,000. Peter Levels was a broke traveler with a laptop and nothing behind him. He set himself a dare, ship 12 small internet products in 12 months, alone in public, where everyone could watch him fail. Most of them flopped. A couple didn't. One plain little site that ranked cities for people who work remotely started earning money every single day, while he was awake, asleep, or sitting on a beach. He built it once. It sold on its own, over and over for years. One man. No staff, no office. A machine that printed while he slept. You don't need to write code. You need one thing you already know that someone will pay for, packaged so it sells without you standing there. A guide, a template, a pack of files, a short course. Price it at $27. 30 sales a month is $810. Money that shows up while you sleep. 100 sales is $2,700 a month, more than the check that runs your life. And you built it one time. What could that one thing be for you? The spreadsheet you use at work, cleaned up and sold to the people who do your job badly. The exact steps you took to fix a problem, written down once. A pack of templates for a trade you know cold. Photos, presets, checklists, a short walkthrough. You make it a single time on a weekend, and it stands there selling forever while you're at the day job that still pays your rent. The poor sell their hours. The rich sell something that sells itself. That machine takes months to build, though. You need cash flow now, and that means going after the one buyer who's been underpaying you for years. Law 3. Sell it yourself. Stop selling your one skill to a single boss. Sell it to 10. Your employer buys your skill at $16 an hour and resells it to his customers for $60. He keeps the spread. That spread is your money sitting in his pocket. So cut him out on the side. Take the exact thing you already do: fixing, cleaning, cutting, wiring, editing, bookkeeping, hauling, and sell it directly, on your own time, to the people who need it. 6 jobs a month at $250 is $1,500 extra, and the ceiling stops being 40 hours a manager hands you. You set it. Thomas Stanley spent years studying American millionaires for a book called The Millionaire Next Door. He found that most of them were self-employed, business owners, even though the self-employed make up less than 1/5 of all workers. The math is brutal and simple. The boss's side of the table is where the wealth sits. Start ugly and start small. 1 flyer in the right window, 1 post in a local group, 1 neighbor who tells another neighbor. The first customer is the hardest dollar you'll ever earn, and after that, the same work you already do for a wage becomes work you own. Do it well enough for long enough, and you stop chasing the weekend job. People start chasing you. 1 buyer sets your price. 10 buyers, and you set it. You have seed now, a machine forming, and cash coming in. Watch what most people do next. They blow it. Before the next law, look at a man who had less than you and refused to. Picture a man locked inside a train station bathroom at night. He's holding his little boy so the kid can sleep against his chest. His foot is jammed against the door so nobody can push it open. He has no home. He sells bone density scanners door to door, and he can't move enough of them to eat. His name is Chris Gardner. He talked his way into an unpaid stockbroker training program. 60 people fighting for 1 spot. And he did it while sleeping in shelters and in that bathroom, showing up every morning in the 1 suit he owned. Clean-shaven, on time. He got the job. Then he built his own brokerage firm and walked out of that station a wealthy man. A child, no bed, no safety net, and he still took the seat at the table nobody thought was his. He had less than you have right now. Sit with that. Pick 1 skill you already get paid to do. 1 word. That's what you're going to sell. Gardner bought himself a seat. The next law is about what you buy with the first dollars you make. Law 4. Buy what pays you. Every dollar you spend either pays you back or bleeds you. Choose the ones that pay. A teenager bought a used pinball machine for $25 and set it up in a barber shop where men sat waiting for haircuts with nothing to do. The coins piled up. He used those coins to buy a second machine, then a third, until a handful of barber shops were quietly feeding him money he never had to be present to earn. His name was Warren Buffett, and he understood the whole game before he could legally drink. Own the thing that collects while you sleep. At an age when his classmates spent their money, he bought machines that spent nothing and paid him for years. Here's the fork you hit every month. You've got $400. Door 1. Finance a nicer car. Now that $400 bleeds out every month forever, and the car is worth less every morning you wake up next to it. Door 2. Put $300 into something that returns cash, inventory to flip, a tool you rent out, a small niche website, a vending route, a used machine like Buffett's barbershop trick. Inside a year it's paid for itself, and it's still paying. Do it again with the next $400 and the next. Stack 3 or 4 of these small paying things, and together they cover a bill on their own, then 2 bills. Then the day arrives when the assets pay your rent and the job turns optional. That's the whole ladder, 1 cheap paying thing at a time. The poor buy things that take. The rich buy things that give. But a thing that pays you is worthless if nobody sees it. The next law hands you an audience of millions, for free. Law 5. The free printing press. You're broke, so buy nothing, and reach more people than a factory owner could a generation ago. A young man in Italy lost his job at a factory. No money, no plan, stuck at home with nothing to do. He picked up his phone and started filming himself, silently mocking those overcomplicated life hack videos. No words, just a flat stare and a shrug of the hands. He spent nothing. The platform carried him to 50 million people, then 100 million, then a bigger audience than any television network on Earth. Brands lined up at his door. That factory reject, KB Lame, became one of the most watched human beings alive, with a phone and a free app. Laid off with nothing in his pocket. A free platform put the whole world in his hand. This is the unfair gift of your moment, and almost nobody uses it. A post that reaches 50,000 people costs exactly what a post that reaches 5 costs. Nothing. The rich man a generation ago paid a fortune for a printing press or an ad slot. You get the printing press free in your pocket today. So put your skill, your product, your service in front of the crowd every single day. Most of them will scroll past. It only takes a few thousand who don't. And you already have something to put there. Film the work you do with your hands. Show the before and the after. Explain the one thing you know cold that your customer doesn't. Nobody is asking you to dance for a camera. The plumber who shows how a pipe actually fails. The cook who shows the shortcut. The guy who flips a dresser on camera. They turned a free app into a storefront that never closes. Free reach still can't save you if you're standing in the wrong place. The next law is about moving your body to where the money already is. Law 6. Change the room. The same effort pays pennies in one room and fortunes in another. Change rooms. A boy grew up poor enough that his family stood in line for food stamps. He swept floors in a grocery store. He taught himself how computer networks worked out of borrowed books. And then he moved himself toward the one place on Earth where that skill was on fire, the tech world in California. He got in the door as an engineer. Years later, he co-built a messaging app and sold it for $19 billion. His name was Jan Koum, and he reportedly signed that deal on the door of the same welfare office where he once collected his food stamps. The men who stayed sweeping floors worked just as hard as he did. He simply moved to the room where the money was already flooding in. Run the math on your own life. 40 hours a week at $15 in a shrinking trade is $2,400 a month, and it will still be $2,400 in 10 years. Those same 40 hours, that same sweat, aimed at a field where the dollars are pouring in. The trades that are starving for workers, anything that touches software, anything built around the tools everyone suddenly needs, pays you 2, 3, 4 times as much. You didn't get smarter overnight. You changed the room. You don't need 4 years and a loan to switch rooms either. You need to point the same hours you already sell at a place that's short on hands and long on money. Watch where the job postings pile up and sit unfilled for months. Watch what every business suddenly can't hire fast enough. Walk toward that. Learn it on nights and weekends the way Koum learned networking out of borrowed books, and carry the work ethic you built at the bottom into a room that finally pays for it. Say you do all of it. You build the seed, the machine, the cash, the assets, the reach, the room. There's one enemy left, and it kills more small earners than any boss ever has. It's you. the day the money finally shows up. Law 7. Look poor a little longer. The first money you make is the most dangerous money you'll ever touch. The man who built one of the largest furniture companies on the planet drove a 15-year-old Volvo. He flew in the cheap seats. He told his staff to write on both sides of the paper, and he reportedly bought his groceries in the afternoon when the market marked everything down. He was worth billions and lived like the clerk he started as, because he fed the money back into the business instead of onto his own back. His name was Ingvar Kamprad, and IKEA is what he built with all the money he refused to waste on looking rich. The billionaire lived like he was broke, so the business grew like it was rich. Here's the trap that swallows people the second they start winning. The first $300 lands, and the brain starts screaming. Buy the shoes, the chain, the rims. Show them you made it. That scream is the comfort tax, and it's how a man earning decent money stays broke his entire life. The shoes drop to zero the moment you wear them out the door. That same 300 fed back into the machine, more inventory, better tools, a little ad money, comes back as 6. The men flashing wealth are usually renting it. The silent ones own it. Look poor a little longer. Get rich quietly. You've heard 7 laws. You'll agree with everyone. And most of you will do nothing. You'll feel the small hit of motivation, close the app, and go right back to waiting for the raise. Be honest about which one you are. Answer one question in your own head, right now. In the last year, what did you actually build that you own? Not hours sold, not a shift covered. Something that is yours, that pays you, or could. If the answer is nothing, the small check has already won another year of your life. Look hard at what the 40-year plan is really trading. 5 days a week, you hand over your best hours, your sharpest mind, your strongest body. The years your kid is small and will never be small again. For 2 days off and a promise of rest at 65. You are selling Monday through Friday of your one and only life to buy back Saturday and Sunday. Run that trade across a whole lifetime, and you sold the entire thing for scraps. And the cruelest part is that the trade feels responsible. Everyone around you calls it the smart, safe, grown-up thing to do. That's how the best cages work. The door stands open the whole time, and the crowd guards it for free. I know this man. He's 29. He's smart, smarter than his manager, and he knows it. He reads about business on his lunch break. He's got a folder on his phone full of screenshots, side hustles, business ideas, things he'll start someday. He's had that folder for 4 years. Every January he says, "This is the year." Every December the folder is a little fuller and his bank account is exactly the same. That folder is a graveyard, and his ambition is what's buried in it. You have the one thing Folder Man forgot he was carrying. You already know how to make a dollar scream. Don't lose that the second the money starts coming. So here are your 2 futures, and you pick tonight. 1. You keep the folder, keep the shifts, and let a stranger's number run your life until your knees give out. 2. You freeze your life this week. Pick one skill and start the machine while you're still young enough to spend what it pays. One of these is you. The check already guessed which. If you just felt the floor shift, if you finally see that the check was never the plan, leave one word below so I know who's actually in the room. Most people who reach the end of this will still do nothing. They'll nod, feel something, and drift back to the same Monday. That's exactly why they'll stay where they are. Small check, big rent, waiting on a raise that barely moves. A few of you won't. A few of you are going to freeze the life, build the thing, and walk out of the salary cage while everyone around you swears it's safer inside. If that's you, then you belong where this comes from. The grey eminence is for the ones who stopped asking permission to be rich. The quiet builders who'd rather own something small than rent a life that only looks big. Hit subscribe and stay in the room. The men who need this most will scroll right past it, and in 5 years they'll be exactly where they are tonight, watching someone like you and wondering how you got out. A small paycheck taught you to squeeze every dollar. The comfortable forgot how, and that's where you get in.